Number 9 is I don't have internet. You have to be, first of all, this is a little bit of a thumbs up. I don't have internet. Most of the time that is not an excuse to say I'm not interested in your program. That is, I am interested in your program and I want to get going, but I think I do, but I don't have internet. What can we do here? You have to be careful that greed doesn't take over. I've seen a lot of these individuals that I've gotten a hold of, like a lot, and I got to the point, I'm not telling you to do this, the opportunity I was involved in had different entry levels, as is some opportunities do for gifting. There's a low minimum, and then with most of the one-up systems, you know, they can progress their way up. It's a tough start to start with a low-end entry level. You can get a hold of, I can get a hold of the I don't have internet prospect, and a lot of times they're not going to come in at the full amount. A lot of times, not always. They're going to come in with a bare minimum, and they have their dreams and aspirations to be met, and they don't have internet. So in this phone conversation, this mock-up conversation that I'm about to show you, shows how you really overcome that. But I want to talk to you from the heart here. Don't bring someone in that is going to have to hitch a ride to the library and write down some of their results from the website, or out of their email, or whatever direction you start them in prospecting, when you kind of know in a gut feeling they're not going to work at this. Now, it's not only that. You'll get a hold of some people like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh we talked about earlier. They just have no personality. Please put those individuals on postcards and things like that. They're not going to work at the phone dialer. They just don't work at it. Bless their heart, it's not their fault. Same thing with the internet. If they don't have internet, yes, they may live out in the boonies somewhere. I live in the boonies. There's 300 people in my town, okay? But I have 6 meg internet. So if they don't have internet, there's a chance it's because they can't afford it or haven't bit the bullet to actually go and get it. And if you're going to accept their money, make sure you've got a game plan down. I guess that's really all I'm saying. So let's listen to this phone conversation. I'll tell you how I overcome it. Now that I've kind of spoke from the heart and just been upfront with you on this particular style of prospect, let's go ahead and listen to the phone conversation, and we'll come back and dissect it out.
And what if I don't have internet service?
Okay, well, that's generally not a problem. We have several people in this opportunity that don't and do great at it. So I don't think that's going to slow you down any, because it never does any of those members. But this is a really important question here. Do you have a public library or a friend or neighbor that does? Because you will need to briefly get on the internet each day and gather your results that came in. They are worth a lot of money to you. It usually doesn't take very long at all online, but you do have to have access to that. Do you have access to the internet at all?
Well, actually, I do.
Great. I think you'll be impressed with the system that's set up and ready to go for you already. Is there any other concerns that you had? I don't want you to leave this empty-handed.
No, I actually don't have internet service.
Well, I have to be upfront and honest with you. It would majorly slow you down without internet access at all, and I would really want you to be successful at this too. Why don't you keep my phone number and let me know if you ever do get internet access, because I would love to train with you. It's worth the thousands of dollars this actually drives into you.
Alright, kind of see how simple that went there. This is kind of a yes or no question here, so you've got my input on this. Just step carefully. Let's go ahead and dissect this out, because there is ways to get around it. And yes, sometimes people say I don't have internet access just because they're trying to get you off the phone. In my experiences, they're saying I'm kind of interested in this. It sounds really neat, but I don't have internet access. How would I make that work? So let's go ahead and dig into this. Well, that's generally not a problem, Mr. Prospect. Generally. We have several people in this opportunity that don't and do great. And really we do. I have a gentleman in Florida, drives to the library every single day. He's done fine. He averages a couple of gifts, maybe sometimes 3 every month or 2 when he does end up working it. We know how that goes. So it does work. So I've seen it work. Just be careful. It more than likely doesn't sometimes. So don't think that you're going to slow down any, because it never does any of those members. Just give some encouragement here, but move on. This is a really important question here. Do you have a public library, a friend, or a neighbor that does? Because you will need to briefly get on the internet each day to gather your results that came in. They are worth a lot of money to you. It usually doesn't take very long online, but you have to have access to that. So no magical questions here. I just want to say, hey, don't give up. It does work, but let me pick your brain on just how much internet access you do or you don't have at this point. Wait for the response. If it is a yes, say, great. I think you'll be impressed with the system that's set up for you and ready to go already. Remember, if they don't have internet access, what kind of technology mindset are they going to start with? Well, they may be the kind, and nothing wrong with this kind, but I've had lots of people that I have showed how to check their email online. Just the bare bones basics. So be prepared. You are going to have to spend some time with this person. So make sure it's worth your time. Don't be greedy for their cash gifts. So great. I think you'll be impressed with the system. It's all turnkey, ready for you to go. Is there any other concerns that you had? I just don't want to leave you empty-handed. There again, just a little bit of scarcity. I want to make sure that if you feel good about them, that you're going to go ahead and move them forward, close them, and get them signed up with the opportunity. If the answer is no, which a lot of times you're just trying to get them to the website, remember. If the answer is no internet access at all, well, I have to be upfront and honest with you. It would majorly slow you down not having internet access. I really want you to be successful at this, so I don't want you to do anything that I know you're not going to succeed at. Do keep my phone number. Let me know if you ever do get internet access. You're building up rapport and trust with this person, saying, look, you shouldn't do this. You're going to lose your money on it. If you do get internet access, I'll be more than happy to train with you. Guess who they're going to call when they get internet access? They're going to be ringing you up. It's happened to me before. Because I would love to train with you, it's worth the thousands of dollars that this drives into you. Now, I threw in it's worth thousands of dollars that this drives into you for one obvious reason. It is. But the other reason that I throw that in there is, look, if you're wanting to send me a few $100s or a few $1,000s, then maybe you ought to consider some other options, possibly getting internet through a satellite provider, or sometimes in certain areas you can do a Wi-Fi tower going way up in the air. Yes, that is a few $100 to get that stuff set up, but might be worth it to you. You leave their mind jogging there. So I don't have internet access. Can go a couple different ways. I told you the way it usually goes for me. Sometimes people are just trying to put you off, and by the time you show them the trust factor, that's another reason I threw that in there. When they say no, they're trying to get rid of you, then they a lot of times will lower their sales shield down and go, oh, okay, well, maybe you're not trying to sell me anything. Maybe I will take a look at this. No promises. So that's the very protective type of personality. So that's it for number 9. Let's move on into number 10. Now there is more objections down below. I just didn't cover in video. That's just something you'll want to download. Just a few more things I don't get too awful often. But number 10 coming up. I don't have enough money is my number 1 objection, and we're going to spend some time on that. So let's get started on it.